I think we were gone in the summertime. Maybe you remember that time when Zach was here? Maybe you weren't here for that, but I've known this young man now for about 5 years, I think, or maybe even a little bit more. He went through our Wyoming School of Ministry program that we have, went all the way through it, and he was one of our first graduates, and I'm just really proud of him. I've gotten to know him. He's just a great brother in the Lord. Well, he is a Wyoming native. Hear it for Wyoming natives.
Amen.
Grew up in Green River and Rock Springs both. And he's going to share a little bit more about God's call. But I just want to give you a little introduction. His wife Kim is also from Green River. They have 2 boys. And they've been married for 16 wonderful, glorious years.
Amen.
And they are going to begin their church. They're going to launch their church plant. They're planting a church, starting a brand new church. Revitalizing a church, actually, in Big Piney area. And Lord willing, they're going to kick that off on the 1st of April. No joke. And so we're just going to bless them today, and just want you to hear them with an open heart, open mind. And we've had Jeremiah share before. I don't remember if you guys remember Jeremiah planted a church in Jackson, and he's spoken for us. And so I wanted to give Zach an opportunity. So let's give it up for Zach, and as he comes and shares what God's laid on his heart. God bless you, brother. And I'll bring you a podium too, so you can have
That'd be great. That'd be great. You know, Pastor Kevin tells me that Star Valley is the most beautiful place in Wyoming.
It is.
Well, you know, the last time I was here, there was wildfires and I couldn't see the mountains. Today, it's foggy and I don't see the mountains, so I don't know. Do I need to call your guys' bluff on that one? I don't know if it's true. But we live on the other side of the mountain. It's pretty there too. It's not a forest like here. It's more deserty. And I'm sorry, before I get any farther, I have OCD. This is not going to work. There we go. All right. And it's beautiful there too. And I want to share with you guys a little bit about that. But I first want to just kind of tell you guys where I came from, who I am, and how God takes some bald guy like me and takes him to the level of where he's going to start a church. I was born in Wyoming, like Pastor Kevin said. And I grew up quasi in the church. My parents went definitely on holidays. They definitely went a couple times a month. But I'm not so sure that I had a healthy relationship with God. In fact, I know I didn't. And when I went to college, I had definitely fallen all the way. You know, I'd fallen into what college does for you. And but it was also there where I found the Lord. It happened in a messed up relationship with my dad. I had this dream that I was going to have this really fast truck with this big hopped up motor in there, and I thought I was smarter than my dad the way I would go about putting this motor in. And my dad ended up spending quite a bit of time out in the garage in the middle of winter trying to get this truck done for me. And it just created some animosity between me and my dad. And excuse me, I got to get my gum out of my mouth too. But you know, I was at work one day. I worked at a little gas station, and I was like, you know, what do I do to repair things with my dad's relationship? And you know, I heard a voice. Remember me, you know, because I had learned about Jesus. I went to Sunday school, and they said, "Remember me." And so I said, "I do." And I had a friend in college that his sister had started to go to a little church. And right when I said, "Yeah, I remember you," his sister walked through the door of the gas station. So I turned around and I said, "Amy, I'm going to church with you tomorrow." And she was like, "Whoa, okay, yeah, you hang out with my brother, right?" So as I did, and I fell back in love with the Lord, or I fell in love with the Lord for the first time. Things were healed with my dad, but that was the start of an amazing journey. So I went to church for a while, and it wasn't too much longer behind after that he gave me my wife. Kind of an interesting story about me and my wife is we have been married for 16 years. We both grew up in Green River. We graduated from Green River High School. She graduated a year before me, so she is a cradle robber, and that's okay. I love her for it. But all through high school, you know, in a town of 12,000 people, I had friends that she had friends in common with and everything else. But I had no idea who she was. I had no idea who her family was. My dad worked with her dad. I didn't know she existed. Spent a summer in like college age youth group where my best friend kind of chased her around all summer. and wanted to date her, and she wasn't interested, and she wasn't interested. Well, I was like, I don't know, I'm getting kind of interested, and she was totally resisting him. She wasn't interested, and so, I decided. Well, actually, it was at Lagoon.
Yeah.
We were on the Rocket at Lagoon, and I decided this is the one. So we started dating that summer. By Christmas, we were engaged, much to the surprise of our parents. But hey, I did the right thing, asked her dad, and we've been married for 16 years. We got our 2 wonderful boys, 13-year-old Elijah, who's back there being quiet, and thanks for being quiet, and then our little boy who went to Sunday school. He's 10 years old. But anyway, so right after we got married, very closely after we got married, I did feel called into the ministry. This was 2002, and I started Bible school. I did it for about a year, I think. Wasn't it about a year? About a year. Finished about a year of it. And we got pregnant with our 13-year-old boy back there, and I had to get a little bit better job to pay the bills and things like that. And I used all of that as kind of excuses to kind of back away from Bible school. But I did do youth ministry in the church I was going to, and I did that for a few years. And then I just kind of went through a season where I just kind of backed completely away from the ministry. We spent about a year out of church, and then we felt like we needed to get back into church with our sons so that they would have a good Bible foundation, because we had a Christian foundation. So we started going to a church, and we were in Sunday school one day, and the gentleman that was teaching the Sunday school, he made a statement that kind of tossed around my ideas and doctrine about who the Holy Spirit is actually. And so it stirred me up. I remember sitting in my chair vibrating like a bee that got shook. I just was like, and we kind of had a little bit of a back and forth over the table there. But I went home that day, and I grabbed some of my old Bible school books and some of my theology books that I had and stuff, and I preached up and down the hallway for like 2 or 3 hours, just ranting and raving about this, because I knew that wasn't what I'd been taught, and I knew that wasn't what I believed. So that led us to a place where, in a nice way, God released us from that church. I was a deacon at the church and stuff like that, but we resigned, and we get along with those people still. We get along with that pastor somewhat still. It was a good thing, but God said, you're done at this church. And we ended up at an Assemblies of God church in Green River. Kind of a whole start over thing. And over this time while we were at this church, it wasn't very long after that we started getting involved in other things, midweek Bible study, going to Sunday school. And the pastor at that church actually presented a book for Sunday school called Not a Fan by Kyle Idleman. And this is my pitch for this book. If you haven't read this book will change your life, because it did. Because this is why I'm here right now. It's called Not a Fan by Kyle Idleman. So if you're looking for a book to read right now, read this book. It'll change you, okay? But anyways, so I read this book, and it talked about how, going from the point of being a fan of Jesus, where you got like the #1 finger, Jesus is #1, Jesus my co-pilot, sure, and going to where you were really a follower of Jesus Christ. And so I did it, and this book, besides the Bible, is the book that just totally destroyed who I am.